Hello and welcome back to Realm News' third round table event, the day after the 2026 Minecraft Spring drop. And I am here today with MintRefresh, MichaelTBH, Nexx, and Jack. We have a great panel today. We're going to break down what we saw yesterday at the live event. I want to go ahead and say, hello, guys. How's it going?
Going good. I'm excited.
Go going pretty well.
Life is
Yeah.
very, very good, man.
How you doing?
Doing great, guys. And to my audience, let's let you know I've had a cold all weekend. So if I sound a little weird or if you hear me sneeze or something, I apologize. I'm at the tail end of this nasty cold. So if my nose is a little obscure, that's why, or my voice is obscure, that's why. Um, yeah, guys, yesterday we received a pretty big drop, and I've heard people such as Mint Refresh say this was like the chef's kiss when it comes to drops. I want to go ahead and I'll just kind of go around the room here. Um, I want I'll start with you, Michael TBH. What's your initial thoughts of the Cube Chaos?
I mean, the name is a bit funky, to be honest with you. I'm a bit unsure about the name, but the
Yeah,
overall drop
did I say that
is like
right? Is it Chaos Cube or is it Cube Chaos? I
I
can't
think it's
remember.
I
chaos
think it's
cubed.
Chaos
Chaos
Cubed,
Cube.
yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Um, I mean, for ages, I've been like, where are the blocks? Where are the biomes? Where are these things that have been seemingly missing from the drop system? And they've delivered. So like, I've got no complaints really. Um, the only thing like I would say is it feels like it's not even a valid criticism right now. It feels like something's missing, and it's not valid because obviously the drops just started, right? So we can't really call it out because nothing's come out really. So, but overall, this is like already shaping up to be personally one of my favorites already. So,
I'd love to hear that, Michael. And let's move on to next year. I'm going to kind of go in the order of like how you guys have, as guests, came on the show. I think that's just how I'll go about it. But next, what was your initial thoughts when you first saw this yesterday?
So the drop as a whole.
Yeah, just when it was first presented. Well, yeah. Go ahead and tell me. We won't get into the leak situation yet.
Okay, so the cave biome is crazy because I've said in other episodes I've been in that biomes needed to be more heavily focused on in drops, and we've only gotten one so far. Roughly, like, what is it? 2 years into the system now, maybe almost 2 years. So it's good to have another one, and at that a cave biome, which to me, I don't know about you guys, but ever since Caves and Cliffs, I've always thought we needed at least one or two new cave biomes. So finally getting one of those is awesome. I've got some different thoughts on the slime, but I guess we could get into that a little bit later. Initial thoughts, I think it's a good drop.
I love that. I love hearing that. And what about you, Jack? What are your thoughts about this?
It is amazing. I think I echo what Michael says here. The idea that we're getting some blocks that we necessarily haven't really explored before. I know people argue that the Cinnabar looks like mangrove, but I think it's more clean. It's the McDonald's block drop. I'm actually a big fan. I know people were commenting online about the single player application. I think that's ridiculous. The Happy Ghast, for example, was shown to be this 4 player rideable mob, but it's still a single player use. I think a lot of the drops that people worry about where they have a multiplayer application, for example, Mounts of Mayhem. People were saying you could play with spears with your friends, whatnot. I think this is just one of those things. We're going to be able to use the sulfur cube, which I really like. I'm a big fan. I'm going to be making marble runs and stuff with it in my single player world. I just think it's an overall good drop. I think it's the most amount of content we've been shown initially for a Minecraft live drop reveal. And I'm excited. I'd be content if this was the whole update, to be honest. Obviously,
Wow.
honestly, I think more could be added, less could be added. We wanted a cave biome, we wanted more blocks, and we want mobs with unique mechanics and functionality. And to the dismay of the Mojang haters, I think we've ticked all those boxes.
I think you're right. Mint, what do you have to say about all this?
Yeah, so I definitely echo a lot of what has been said, including by Jack previously, who also, Jack, nice to meet you. It's the first time I've actually
Yeah,
gotten to
good to
talk to
meet you,
you.
man. A pleasure.
Um, but yeah, um, I really was very happy with what we saw, to the point where I have been insulted so many times on Twitter in the past like 22 hours. Um, but like, yeah, we've checked so many boxes that so many people were asking for. We got blocks, and of course, there's certain kinds of blocks that people want, like colors and stuff. You have to start somewhere, but that is moving in the right direction. It is something that we didn't have previously. We can get into a lot more of the specifics, as we go on. The biome, really cool. It's very unique looking, in terms of color, in terms of mechanics, in terms of yeah. I mean, we need more cave biomes. It really, I think, is a positive. Could there be more? Of course. We've only seen the first look, and then something like the sulfur cube, like that is something I would have never ever imagined to have anything close to it in vanilla Minecraft. Like, it really, like, it's something I would imagine out of Gary's Mod, which is, like a physics simulator game, and it's a really old one too. Like and it's fully, and it's not just like, oh, you have something but it has to work like this. Like, it's customizable, and they in Mojang showed so many applications for it, and what the community is like. There's going to be so many more that come out. I've thought of so many since just seeing the show. Like, it's truly incredible. There's nothing like that in vanilla. So many doors are opened by that, which is really what you should want to come out of an update in a sandbox game, is that you want to have people inspired to do whatever it is they want to do. Like, that is the essence of Minecraft. And I think that has been captured here. This is, I think I said before, especially on Twitter, and a lot of people have been mad at me about that it might be my favorite drop. I did forget that shelves were added in the Copper Age. So probably top two. Past, I'm not, we'll have to see how it plays out in the end for me to maybe say more on that.
Okay, yeah, no, sounds like you're satisfied with this drop. Um, and before I go on to the next question, I just want to read off just a real short poll I have here. I posted yesterday. What do we think? Do you like the latest drop, Chaos Cube? It's a small sample, pool sample, only 21 votes so far, but yes, I love it. It's winning with 61.9%. It's meh is 19%, and I dislike it 19%. And I have another like about 300 votes going so far on the Reddits. So I'll have a better, more accurate picture of the community sentiments over this drop like in a couple days. But I just wanted to read off that one on Twitter that I posted yesterday. Now, before we even get to the nuances of this new drop, I need to say, I need to bring this up, the leaks by MWAM, because I wanted to say that, I wanted to bring that up as the first question. But how did you all feel about what do you guys feel about leaks in general? I'll go to Mint
Trash,
first on that.
trash,
Trash.
trash, 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 trash.
You want to
It
expand on
ruins
that,
it.
Jack?
I know it ruins it. Sorry. It makes it unenjoyable. I remember when the Garden Awakens got leaked, and then I thought, nah, surely not. And then when I was watching that live from nearly a year and a half ago now, I remember just feeling a bit deflated because I was like, damn, this is actually it. And not that I think I'd tempered my expectations, but this year I logged off of everything. I actually missed Minecraft live. I watched it. I fell asleep when they were talking about Bedrock parties.
That's
And
funny.
then I woke up and all I saw was just Catman 18, and I thought, oh my god, I need to rewind it. So I ended up watching it without being spoiled, and I was incredibly surprised. I had no expectation. I think I felt a bit deflated from the tiny takeover drop, but that's its own conversation. It's not a bad drop. It needed to happen. I just wanted to put it out there. I don't hate it. I was a bit like, just like, yeah, all right. So seeing all the new block, I'm so excited. But when it's leaked, it adds a level of like, oh, it takes away from the event. I think Mojang have a very tough job trying to balance the corporate side of things, trying to balance making it an entertaining show, and trying to balance how they showcase the information to us. I think this year they did a very good job, and I think because I wasn't leaked myself. I think I saw online Michael said there was leaks, and I saw his tweet, and I immediately logged out. I
Yeah, you're
think,
welcome, by the way.
no, honestly, thank you so much. And I thought, yeah, do you know what? This was a much more enjoyable experience. I think I also was leaked for the Mounts of Mayhem drop. I think Wham is that who you're talking about,
Yeah,
Greg?
MWAM or whatever
Yeah,
he's called, Wham.
I mean, it just made it a much more enjoyable experience. I think I'm definitely gonna do that in the next Minecraft Live in September. But yeah, that's just from the perspective of somebody who didn't get leaked. So enjoyable, really fun, really good time.
That's a good point to just kind of maybe tune off, like tune out of the socials for until the show's over to avoid the
Yeah, yeah,
leaks.
yeah.
Who else wants to talk about like Michael TBH, how did the leaks make you feel?
Well, I mean, so beforehand, it did get spoiled. The entire event got spoiled. I didn't see what the cinnabar or the sulfur blocks looked like, but I knew they were happening. I knew that the slime was also happening. I knew what it looked like. So I was like, there's kind of no point in me watching this. I
Mhm.
watched it and I was like, afterwards, I was like, damn, this would have been a lot better if I didn't know what was going on. Um,
Yeah.
I'd say it's like the whole event for me was like 4 out of 5. If they didn't get spoiled, it would have been 5 out of 5. And I really don't like leak culture. I think it's grown into something that's become its own kind of monster of like, I need my 5 seconds of fame and then I can just bounce off the internet and I'll get no repercussions.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's like people can't really make fake leaks, right? It's really hard for people in this community to make fake leaks. So that's good in a sense because it's easy to spot, right? But when you're someone like Moan who does it the day of, it's like, what other purpose are you doing this for other than just for attention? You don't tweet
Yeah.
or do anything outside, right? You just do it all on the same day, and it's like, fine, I gave you the benefit because it happened the same, like with Mercer Mayhem, it happened the exact same. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just like a one-off. And then literally the same exact situation. And I'm like, why?
Did he do
Like
that,
you
Mounts
just,
of Mayhem?
yeah, like we knew about the
Okay.
Nautilus, the spear.
That was him?
Um, yeah,
I didn't realize. I was trying to look that up. I was like, what else did he leak before? Because I know he was a proponent or he helped propagate the initial leak from Reddit over the
mm,
supposed Minecraft 3-year game plan, that whole timeline. And he was
yeah,
the first one on X to post it there and he was pushing it. But yeah, I forgot about Mounts of Mayhem.
but yeah. I mean, it wasn't even just like the drops. It was like Dungeons 2, obviously we knew about before. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, because I've had question marks for the past year, like, oh, when is Dungeons 2 being released? And then just for one day, some random guy is like, actually, it's being released this year. It's like, could you not have waited for, I don't know who announced, was it Jeb who announced it? To just say it himself. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. And I feel like a lot of people are a bit put off by the Dungeons 2 announcement. And I feel like for me, it's because I already knew about it beforehand.
Mm.
It's just not even that, like, spice, not even that it was a thing. I didn't mind that I knew that it was a thing. It was the
Yeah.
whimsy of when is it going to happen, you know? And that was taken away. Screw that leaker, in my opinion.
I I agree with you. What do you think next about MWAM or Mwam, whatever his name in the leaks?
So last year, right before the second Minecraft Live, it was probably like an hour or two before. he was posting stuff alluding to the zombie horse coming, and honestly, I couldn't put it together. I had no idea what he was talking about, to be honest. But then I straight up seen the spear and what the baby nautilus looked like before, like an hour or two before the event, which is weird how you had like full on screenshots. But this year was a little different. I woke up and there was, I think it was the same plate picture that Mojang posted, and he said something about like changing the properties or physics of the mob, and then I seen what I assume is like Cinnabar in real life as a photo, but I kind of like stayed off afterwards. I was like, okay, I see something red. I'm not gonna look into what it is because I wanted to maintain like some excitement or something new during the actual event. But I was pleasantly surprised to find out, what everything was, and I didn't know that he posted anything about Dungeons 2, like confirming it. So that really blew me out the water. I know he posted the Spicewood logo like a month or so ago, but I mean, I didn't really think it was gonna happen, to be honest, because it's been like that before every live for the last like 2 or 3 lives.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think it kind of caught a lot of people off guard. What do you think, Mint?
For the leaks, I definitely echo kind of just like what's the point? Like, what do you get out of like a what do you get out of this for the leaker? And the answer is obviously attention. And I don't know really what else. And then like, what do you get for if you're someone that sees the leak? Like we were hours away from being told in the way that it was meant to be presented. And I think that's even like a really important point of that because, one argument would be like, well, we're about to find out anyways. Except if you look at the leaks from yesterday, it was very, like a very reduced version of what we got. Like, yes, we got spoiled on what I particularly saw was that there was a slime that the physics was important and that and about a possible cave biome, even though they included things that weren't cave biomes in that. So I wasn't even like fully convinced on that. But there's like people just like, yeah, we got those like, okay, but not you completely reduce like what this cave biome could be. The physics thing, like, is actually more of a teaser. So like that one, I like that specific one. I can't like say that much about. But then the like the idea was like, oh yeah, like there's a slime here. It looks like, which is like so unimportant compared to like the whole purpose of its existence. Like if people saw that, they'd be like, okay, I already know the news. I don't need to watch Minecraft Live. Like yes, I went into the show knowing this like information, and I was thoroughly impressed and surprised because of all of the things that were not reflected there. So like yeah, like you completely tamper people's expectation versus how the Mojang team and the developers catered to have you experience this, and they provide the rationale for why they think they did the things they did, more context, like stuff like that. Like there's a reason why it's done this way, which I mean, and I think just like for me, I proved that to myself in terms of I was still so much more surprised here, seeing it from how they talked about it and actually seeing the footage and stuff. So so yeah, like it's completely pointless other than spoiling the surprise for people. And then in terms of what is this? Something just said on the screen about my Patreon, which I currently don't actually have. That was weird. But and then in terms of Spicewood, I actually did not see a leak that it was supposed to be announced today. I did predict it like last week, which I did not actually expect to be correct, but I was actually fully correct on that. So that was pretty neat. In terms of leaking like information about Spicewood, I mean, it spoils it a little bit, but like, yeah, like I would like to see the finished product instead of things that are not finished because that's not what you're supposed to see and make opinions off of. But some of that stuff is admittedly interesting, but still, like I'd rather not have it.
No, no, I agree, and I agree with like it is a there. That's a good point. Like the fact that they posted all that hours, literally hours before the event, is kind of a slap to the face, you know, to the community, in my opinion. Like it's, I mean, that doesn't give like any. I don't know. It's just not cool. So, and also, I just want to say, yeah, I accidentally put Patreon there. I don't know why. MintRefresh Twitter is what I meant to boom show there. So anyways, oh, it's nice to hear you guys' sentiments about the leakers. I'm not a big fan of the leaks either. I think it just kind of ruins the surprise for everybody, and it's just not cool, and it's pointless, and it's just for attention, like you all said. Moving on to the next question here. Overall, what announcement from the Minecraft Live 2026 excited you the most in this Sulfur Caves biome specifically? I won't get into the theme park and everything yet. We'll get down to that here soon. But I guess out of the whole new Sulfur Cave biomes, what's your favorite aspect of that?
The sulfur cube, honestly.
Sulfur cube.
The sulfur cube is going to be amazing to work with. People don't, I think, appreciate that. I think every single block will have some sort of friction. I can't remember the word. I remember
Is it every block?
I know. I don't think at the moment it will be every block, but I think every block will have the potential. It could be data driven, so data packs will be able to add the ability for these sulfur cubes to use different frictions, different abilities. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they apply different blocks to the sulfur cube, and I think we're about to see sort of. I think the devs saw Armadillo Ball on Hermitcraft. I saw this online, and subsequently they've done what we wanted. I like the idea of having a Rocket League ball or a companion cube in Minecraft. I think it adds excitement, it adds depth. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I personally think I'm going to create a marble run, and I'm going to try and collect like a hardcore YouTuber every single sulfur cube and try and give it every single block and store them, and just be a bit completionist about it. But yeah, sulfur cube 100%.
Okay.
If I can quickly go next, I want to add on to what he said about possibly every block, because like while we were given 4 qualities that were like particularly described, but not only are there a lot of other blocks in the game that don't fall within those categories, which like I feel like only having a subset of blocks would be weird to do, because then it's just like you have to experiment and just find the right ones. Um, but like, and this is actually one of the reasons I did not believe when people were guessing, but with like the teasers, that there was going to be something like this, because I was like, they'd have to do everything. But even in the show, we saw them give these sulfur cubes blocks that were not that weren't really told what they do. For like, they talked about wood, wool, ice, and metal, but we also saw in the preview sulfur cubes with netherwort blocks. We saw.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. Both netherwort blocks and warped wart blocks.
Yeah,
we
on
saw
the shuffleboard game.
and we saw one of them use a block of cobblestone. And in one of the teasers, I believe, when they were talking about like, do you have your snacks ready for Minecraft Live? It was a bunch of blocks in a bundle, and one of those blocks was a honey block, which we also don't know what that would do.
Yeah,
there was in the after show they used moss, I think, and pale moss in one of the games with Kaman. I think.
Interesting.
Just
yeah, you're right, they did. Which like I'm assuming, because I think I'm assuming those were similar to the other one, because I think there might have been like one. I think one of them had like a wood block, so I'm guessing the moss must be similar to those, so that it would have been like even. But
Man,
remains to be seen.
There was a lot of now that we're talking about it, my imagination's starting to wake up.
What's an amethyst block do? Does it make like funny noises every time it hits something?
Well, I'm thinking like the honey one, will it stick to things?
That's what I was wondering. That would be funny if you like slap it against the wall and it just sticks there.
That would
like,
be cool.
That's so fun. As like an idea.
No,
sorry. Pushing on from what Mint is saying here, because he is 100% correct. All the people complaining, I nearly used an awful word there. All the people complaining on Twitter, saying that this is the nothing burger. It is absolutely ridiculous. You have to understand that this one mob is going to probably, well, fingers crossed, interact with a large majority of the blocks in the game. There are hundreds of blocks, right? Full blocks even. I've seen even ideas on Twitter about how they could give some blocks unique identities. Like, I know this probably wouldn't happen, but I've seen pistons being powered and stretching it, TNT
Cool.
being able to be exploded. This
Yeah.
is a good mob. This is a really good feature. Very sandboxy, like Agnes said. Just wanted to say that I'm sick of people complaining. Yeah, I'm really enjoying what Mojang are doing right now.
Mr. Michael TBH, do you agree with the sulfur cube being that your favorite mob, or do you have some other favorite feature in this drop?
I do have another favorite feature, but on the whole sulfur thing is, objectively speaking, one of the biggest things we've probably received in the drop system. I think that we're talking about a lot of blocks we already have, but what about future blocks layer? I feel like there's a lot of possibilities for this one block, and to say that it's just for multiplayer purposes is, in my opinion, very wrong. I mean, Jack, you mentioned completionist stuff. I'm that type of person as well, so I might just collect all of them. But for me, the favorite part about this drop for me is the fact that it's actually a cave biome, because I was worried, and obviously I knew going into it that it wasn't, but I was initially worried with the teasers that it was an above ground biome. And I was like, I don't really want that. Like, I don't think we really need another surface kind of biome with slimes. Like, we have like swamps and we have basalt delta. Like, I don't. But I was like, well, what do you do for caves? Because I'm sitting there thinking like a frozen cave, right? But they, in my opinion, completely went the opposite direction and in a really good way. I feel like this is the best kind of biome. And for me, caves are fine now, because I always thought since Caves and Cliffs there was like a missing part. Not to add on to like the whole or Caves and Cliffs Part 8, every drop, but like to me there was always a cave biome that was missing. And I don't really feel like that with the Nether. Obviously the end is a different story. But with the caves it was like there's something there that's like in between the Y levels of like 0 and 30, which is kind of where it spawns if you notice. There has to be something there, and there is, and I think that's really good. And with Mojang talking about the difficulties of world generation, I believe that they deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing because this is going to change world generation. So I don't think enough people are talking about this, in my opinion. But yeah,
Remember when people said, based off of Jeb's comment, that they're never going to add a biome again? And that's literally the next thing they announced.
yeah,
Yeah,
bro,
no kidding. No, I personally, and I'm going to get to you next. I want to ask you, but I just want to say, I too agree, Michael, that I think underground needed a new biome or a sub biome added to it just to add variety. I do appreciate that for sure. And
Do you know?
honestly,
Sorry, Greg. Do you know what's ridiculous? Do you know how many people have been commenting Caves and Cliffs Part 8? And I had an interaction on Twitter yesterday, and it was like Caves and Cliffs this year will be half a decade old. You have to
wow.
move on, man. You gotta move on. They're allowed to update, and they're allowed to add new cave biomes. It's ridiculous, this little obsession they've got with caves and cliffs. I understand it for the wild update. Like, I completely get it because the content was moved back. Caves and Cliffs Part 3. I think that's funny. But when you go into Caves and Cliffs Part 8, it's just a bit dry. It's a bit dead, I can't lie. Just had to put that out
yeah.
there.
I mean, no one's
Gotcha.
calling Chase of Skies the Never Update Part 2. It's just a bit
No,
like,
Yeah,
no,
and
you're
that's maybe
right.
that's like
behavior.
maybe that's far-fetched of an example, but I think people are still very bitter from what happened to Case and Cliffs. And to be honest with you, it wasn't Mojang's fault what happened. The Wild Update is a different story, but I don't think we can blame Mojang for how they. And even then, everything from Case and Cliffs, maybe barring, was vastly improved on from what it originally was shown at Minecraft Live. I mean, just look at Deep Dark, right? If the Deep Dark came in Caves and Cliffs Part 1 or Part 2, it would have been significantly worse. I mean, in my opinion, like I don't think we'd have seen everything we saw.
It's not even like just an opinion. Like we saw the original footage of the Deep Dark.
Yeah,
Like
like it was not good. It just wasn't great. Like Grimstone didn't look good. Obviously, the original name of Deep Slate didn't really look that appealing. to me at least. I mean, now Deep Slate is like one of the most renowned blocks, I think, in the game. Mojang deserve credit for that, and given the situation they were in at the time, I think they've done the best they could, in my opinion. And I'm going to get called, a glazer or whatever. Facts are facts, you know.
I yeah, I hear you. And along the lines of people just saying that this is an extension to a past update. I think that's like I don't know, like you see
Everything is an extension
yeah,
to a past
everything's an
update.
extension or it's a retexture, right, Mint? Like it's like people these critics always latch on to the most unimaginative way to describe something because they just you know what I mean? Like it's they just go towards the most base way to insult something and just because I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what they're getting from it, but
It's so reductive. Like you
reductive is
can't
a good
like
word.
when you're calling things like oh this is like all a retexture. Like if you want to call Tiny Takeover a retexture, like technically it's not, but it's also a remodel. But like that's also like kind of fair. Like I get that like based on what changes and stuff. But if you're gonna add a whole new cave biome with new decorative blocks that you can build with in a building game, and which people have wanted, and like and all these new mechanics, and you're gonna call that a retexture? Just like
Well, it's kind of
that's
like the
like you
Pell
don't know what a
Garden.
retexture is.
People are
Like
saying the Pell trees or whatever were retextured
what
oak
what
trees or
which
whatever.
like I mean, sure you can say they're the same shape as dark oak trees, and like I mean that is a valid criticism. I understand that Mojang wanted to do something like a like different version of the dark forest, like something that's like just outright like just dangerous, and then something that's like creepy and like seemingly safe but more dangerous than like I get the
Well,
comparison, like the decisions that came to that. So
I'm a
like but like calling that a bit of a retexture, just like first textures are more complicated than that, but like at the end of the day, like sure, like I get the point that's being made. But like here is something with all new mechanics, with like a bunch like new mechanics, new like blocks that have like a solid like reason for being in the game and stuff, and you're gonna and a physics ball again, like something that we've never seen in vanilla Minecraft, and I think most people would have bet real money would have never come. You
Yeah,
and all this
100%.
is you're gonna forget about all those other features and then call one of them a retexture, which is not. Like you have to be doing this deliberately.
yeah.
I think, raises a good point here. No one is talk like I've literally seen no one mention this. It is, in my opinion, phenomenal that a game that is almost 2 decades old is giving us completely new stuff because no one, barring the leaks, would have predicted, like you say, would have predicted this. And I
It is
think
completely
Mojang,
new.
it's just insane. And I think the drops are, like slowly, I think they're improving. And I think they're legitimizing and kind of giving more rational to their existence, in my opinion. Because if they're able to do this stuff in drops, I think Minecraft has a healthy future in
Do
terms
you
of
know what
updates.
is? Do you know what is ridiculous? I think it shows the narrow-mindedness of a lot of people who are. I'm going to use the term greedy here, but I'm greedy because I could get through 2 buckets of KFC in a half hour. I think what the point is that a lot of people will see the happy ghast and say that's a ghast retexture when it's clearly not. It's a completely well thought out mob, really good mechanics. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the greatest fan of Chaser Skies as a Java player because I really want vibrant visuals. It looks stunning. But then you see people look at the camel husk and say, well, that's just a retexture. I even saw people today saying, well, that's a retextured slime. They're retextured blocks. And it's like, well, yeah, of course they're retextured blocks. Every block is a retextured block. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think
Literally.
narrow-mindedness, it's
No,
a
it
joke.
is.
Like, it's a voxel game. And do you know what? Sorry, I've just had to put this out there. I've seen a lot of people comparing like this update to Hytale's latest update. Two
Really?
completely different games, two completely different engines, and two completely different experiences. They're both amazing games. I saw people online
Hold up,
comparing it,
Jack.
and
Hold up,
I,
Jack.
I
Wait.
used the two cake argument. You're like, well, one cake's bigger than the other, and it's like,
Yeah, I've seen
holy,
that.
holy, holy crap, two cakes. Just enjoy it, man.
So one moment. Next, I never got your take on what your favorite feature was in this latest drop.
I think probably just the cave biome as a whole, to be
Okay,
honest.
you just like having the new biome.
Yeah, I think it's unique. So I don't know if anybody else likes this, but after I guess you could say all three parts of Caves and Cliffs came out. Um, I really like it when there's like a cave that I find that's super open and I can see like all the cave features in like one area. So like maybe at the top there's a lush cave and then half of it's a dripstone cave, and then if I look down there's like
Mm.
deep dark and then like a geode in the corner or something. Like I think that's sweet, and it's just like okay, this update's like come full circle. This update's complete. So I'm like imagining that in my head, like a new world, big open cave with all four of the cave biomes plus a geode and now trial chambers as well. I think that'll be really sweet. I I don't think the mob is for me. It's kind of grown on me, like changing my perspective on it, seeing that it's like just like a mini game type of thing, which is fine. Um, but for me, I'm just more excited for the biome itself, and I'm really surprised we got the little sulfur particles coming out the water because when they were when it was leaked that we would get like some sort of sulfur like biome was what we assumed. I was like, that would be cool if we had the pools with particles, but like that's something that I didn't think that they would do. So when they actually did that, I like out loud said like that's actually surprising they actually went ahead and did that. So I think it's unique and I think it's cool and it's very much different from the other caves. And something I wanted to add about like the retexture comments. If you go by that logic, then every single block is a retexture, every single mob is a retexture. Like you just can't say that. Like I could you could argue that variants could be
Yeah.
retextures, but some of them do have unique properties. At the end of the day, it's about adding ambience and like um, liveliness to the world. Like, okay, these mobs have adapted to colder climates, so they have a little more fur than the normal temperate variants of them. And I think it's a good thing, like to have. It's a quick thing to do, and it adds to the immersion in the world, and it's not a bad thing. But a full-on biome with new block sets is not just a retexture. I mean, maybe you could argue the Pale Garden, maybe because it's closer to a variant biome than its own thing, but I still think it's unique on its own enough to be, its own biome, not just a retexture, quote
I
unquote.
like your response. I like how you enjoy the biome as a whole. I agree, and I think Michael even said earlier about it, like when we were speculating it being up on the surface before all this was announced. I was pleasantly surprised myself that it was underground because we've had a lot of attention to the surface lately. So I thought that was just a nice change up personally. But I would like to ask you guys about because next you brought up like the noxious gases and stuff. What do you guys think about that effect? I've seen people wanting it to see like we kind of talked briefly before the show. People are getting kind of hostile about the noxious gas and potent sulfur, and they want to see maybe something more done to it. I've seen people say they want like health damage. I've even said that like as a suggestion, but I mean, I think the noxious effect with the vision, the obscured vision is really cool. Personally, I would like to see a little bit more because I think it should be damaging in my opinion, but I want to get your guys' opinion on that. What do you all think?
The idea of
Voice cut a little.
the cloud causing nausea, I think it should be quite a large area of effect. It adds challenge. I don't think they necessarily have to damage the player because I think in a dark cave in the Minecraft Live you could see skeletons, zombies, and that spawning. I think if you were just to give the player nausea, it just it doesn't have to be over. It doesn't overbear. It doesn't take away from the potent sulfur at all. It just adds that extra level of challenge, like how the trial chambers sort of added the splash, the lingering potions and fireballs, and that you're still battling the same
I still
thing.
haven't found one of those.
Have you not?
No.
Get yourself a cartographer, man. Get yourself a cartographer.
I know, I need to start hiring some more of those. Ways, go ahead. I didn't mean to interject there.
No, 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 you're good. I just in the same way that in a trial chamber, there's not except for the breeze, which is almost an extension of the idea. It's just adding little effects, tweaking combat slightly to make it a bit of a different experience. Now, I'm not saying that the sulfur caves are like the trial chambers. I think what I'm trying to say is having nausea and trying to fight mobs is really, really difficult. I think that's what they're going for here, rather than making it harmful necessarily, which I do think contradicts the firefly idea. I saw that online, how they wouldn't add fireflies because it damages the mob, but they'll let us swim in sulfur. But in all seriousness, I think I think that's what they're going for. I don't think they necessarily need it to inflict damage, but that's just my take.
What's your take, Next?
I like the nausea effect for it. Um, I personally think that it probably should. Maybe it doesn't have to be poison, but I think should inflict a little bit of damage. Maybe similar to like magma blocks. Like if you are in the water, maybe take a little bit of tick damage, um, just to get out of it. Or if you can just kind of allude to that potent sulfur block being the source of it. I don't know how you would really do that. And then once you remove that, then maybe like the tick damage is gone. Um, but I think it should do a little, like not like kill you, but I think it should do a little bit, just enough to make you like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in the sulfur stuff. But yeah, yeah, no, compared to like Firefly reasoning from Wild Update stuff, I mean that's kind of stupid. So let's continue that. Let's stay consistent, Mojang, and do a little bit of damage from sulfur because it is not a good thing for you IRL.
Cinnabar's not good for you either. It's highly toxic. Yeah, it has
Really?
mercury in it. It will
I
kill you.
Oh
It's
damn.
used in traditional Chinese
Yeah.
medicines, but it's like not good for you. Um,
Oh yeah. I had no idea what it was until
I didn't know
to be
anything about
honest.
Cinnabar
So.
until I did the research last night. I was kind of sending MintRefresh some late night DMs um, about like sulfur and cinnabar because I had no idea what cinnabar was, and I was looking into it, and it's
Mhm.
it's a highly toxic chemical material. And I guess even the Romans used it for the color vermilion. I don't know if you've ever seen like I can't remember what era that Roman pottery is, but it's very iconic. It has like the vibrant, that red, that cinnabar red on their vases, or I guess in Britain you guys call them vases, right? But yeah, I don't know if you guys ever seen those pictures online, but that paint was even toxic. And they used it for tattoos also back in
Damn.
the day, but they don't do that anymore, I don't think. But I thought it was kind of interesting because I saw on my Reddit a guy who comments on a lot of my polls for the past couple years, apprehensive hat. They said in a loose way, they weren't like they were kind of serious about, it, but not really. But they're like, it's kind of, I'm paraphrasing, kind of funny that Mojang adds in toxic chemicals for kids to play with. And I was like, well, I guess I never thought about that until now. And it is kind of funny to me, like, and I think Mint Refresh, I'll let you go here, and then Michael respond to the toxic gases. But I tweeted earlier today about something about like the what was it? Gosh, about fire or frogs eating fireflies. That was a whole thing, and I was like, it's kind of funny that they're adding toxic material into the game. It's like I think Mojang should probably just kind of ease up on their whatever standards are. Anyways, Mint, would you like to add on to that?
Yeah, so I on so I have a few thoughts in terms of sulfur and cinnabar being very dangerous chemicals. I do agree, and this is why when you were wondering about sulfur with the teasers, I had absolutely zero belief it would become a block set. It's also like
Yeah,
really
we talked
brittle.
about that Friday.
Yes. Yeah, so that was a huge surprise to me. But Minecraft takes swings sometimes, so it's fine. I do think that the dangerous properties should be reflected somehow. Even if it's still like a block set, I think that there should be something kind of like it's not dangerous to like be around the lily of the valley, but if you put it in a stew and consume it, you will learn that it is dangerous. Um, in terms of the whole arguments between like, well, I guess so let's start with like whether or not it should do damage. I I can see that argument. A lot of people have been like referring to this as acid, which it never was. I definitely
No.
assumed acid was going to be coming with the leaks, but I think that's honestly very separate from what we actually ended up getting.
Even though
Or not
sulfur
leaks, sorry,
is used to
seizures,
make
but
sulfuric acid, that is
y-
the major
y-
industrial use for it today.
and my theory that I had was actually based around that idea. But that is not actually what we have been getting here. Like that's not the intention. Mojang had described like compared this to hot springs, which are also very sulfuric. And I can't say about all, but I know that at least some of them are safe to go in. I've been in at least one.
I have 2 in Colorado,
Yeah, actually, yeah, I think it was in Colorado they did too.
probably
Um,
same place, and but the one that I described, Denal, the one I talked about in Ethiopia on Friday was a toxic pit pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's varying degrees of them. Like they're not all going to be made equal.
Yeah.
It's so far like Dalal is not what Mojang has compared this to,
No.
even though we talked about it, and I do think that is also a unique idea and like really cool. But it doesn't seem like that's what they took inspiration from. And so, in
No.
terms of the water not doing damage, I do get that, even though I do understand the argument that also the entire place is surrounded by hazardous chemicals. So it does feel a little bit like inconsistent in that sense. But again, like it's not the first time Minecraft has done this. It's not a big deal. But in terms of like the fire, and also I guess nausea is more interesting than another thing that does damage. Like like there's going to be hostile mobs in this place too. It's a lot more
True.
interesting if you aren't dealing with more things giving you damage, but instead a completely new type of challenge you have to overcome. But in terms of the fireflies and parrots, like type of thing, like so many people have been going at this, and personally I think it's like really simple to explain why this is different. It's because and first like fireflies weren't like delayed like purely because of the frog thing. Like that I think that's what's caused a chain of events that had to lead to them getting removed.
It
Like
was
and
literally the community that made them stop that, though.
it's not even well, yeah, like and it was probably a lot smaller of a community than the people that were upset by it. But they didn't get rid of it like fireflies because frogs because they would poison frogs.
No,
They
they just
got
made
rid
it a
of it
particle instead.
because there's like major performance issues, and when they weren't required for one of their features, it completely like changed the entire thing, the entire way they designed fireflies up to that point, because they weren't going to be a mob anymore. Like they were spending so much time trying to find the middle ground between a mob and a particle just for that functionality, that when that functionality was removed, everything didn't like made like it, you just scrap everything because otherwise it doesn't make sense. So like that's just like an unfortunate like circumstance. It's not because like directed because otherwise frogs. But even then, like people have pet frogs and catch fireflies. Like that is something that someone can actually like
I
cause
did.
harm.
Growing up in Kansas, I had pet frogs and
But did you really?
fireflies. Yeah, I
Well,
grew up in
there's
the
an example
country.
because I didn't have any examples, but that there you
Yeah,
go.
I could be
Um,
that example.
yeah, but like that's actually like someone can go and like cause harm through that. In terms of
Well, I didn't feed them
people have
to
pet
them.
parrots, like yeah, but some people you never know, like and people
True.
have pet parrots, and the cookie thing could have actively caused harm. But like this is not the only thing where it's not consistent. We have the nautilus is a huge one. Nautilus eats pufferfish, and I might have been actually the first to say when people were talking about it, was like, but not like before it was even revealed. I was like, but nautiluses can't eat pufferfish. It's bad for them. But Mojang gave a very clear gameplay reason for why they chose that route, because it linked into water breathing and everything, as well as that is not something that anyone can just suddenly do. Like if you are in a position to to feed a nautilus, a pufferfish, first, like, reach out because I'm so intrigued by what you do. But
Yeah.
like, but like, if you're in that situation, like that very specific situation, that's probably because you've studied it and know better than that. Like it's kind of just like like you don't just come across like pure like chemical sulfur or cinnabar like yeah those are toxic chemicals, like that's not something people have on hand. Like no child
No,
I
you don't.
expect is to stumble
It's
upon it
most
and
places
have
on
a
Earth you're
wrong.
not going to encounter those two compounds. But
Yeah.
but man, I would like to ask Michael what his opinion is on this. Michael, what are your thoughts on the noxious gas and the potent sulfur?
I really like, and Mojang has done a very good job of this recently, where they've taken an effect and made it so the player can take that effect anywhere with them. So, like, think of the Spore Blossom. It's a physical block. It's not the biome. It's a block.
I
And
love the
I don't
spore
know what
blossom.
psychopath would use this sulfuric block, but I like the fact that you can use it, right? Um, the fact that it does damage or doesn't do damage yet, because again, massive questions, but you've got to preface this with yet, right? Um, I don't know, like I'd be okay with it either way. I think that we didn't really see many mobs in the biome, so I think there's something with the mobs. I think personally, much to my pure suffering and hatred of creepers, they're about to spawn a whole lot more in this biome,
You
and
think?
yeah, and I don't think they get affected by the nausea that the sulfur causes as well. So I also think that
Interesting.
I think that present the two block sets as really valuable because obviously if there's creepers everywhere, you're going to want to light up the area and like secure it before it all gets blown up, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really mind because in my headcanon I see the threat being creepers, not really the liquid. Although I wouldn't mind the two of them coexisting. I think they can, but um, if it was just this and they moved on to something else, I wouldn't be complaining. It is what it is. Like, Mojang have reasons for, like you say, Nautilus and stuff like that. It is what it is. It doesn't bother me that much.
Sorry, going off what Michael was saying about the particles. It'll be really interesting to see how the potent sulfur, because I know it's a block which you place underwater, like a soul sand block or a magma block, right? It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how it reacts to waterloggable blocks. So I'm thinking copper grates because my initial reaction to seeing those chemicals, the particles, is I build a lot of industrial in my world. I
Yeah.
build a lot of factories. I'm thinking chimney smoke. I'm
That would
thinking
be cool.
gas. So
Noxious
you
gases.
because usually I would
Yellow.
use like a campfire, right, to indicate something's going on. But to have a different color, and obviously it's a potent, it's a dingy sort of beigey. I can sort of, I don't know what to compare it to. In my head, I thought of tahine, but this sort of dingy
You
color.
actually, you raised a good point there because someone brought up to me yesterday. I don't know how realistic this is, like if this makes any sense, but what if this acid makes copper oxidize quicker?
Oh, you're
And
cooking.
that
No, that's a great point. That's
you're
an
asking for like survival, like reasons to like care about this in single player survival. That's your reason. Like that is straight
y-
up your reason.
that would
Yeah,
be
I,
amazing if we could like acid etch like copper
yeah.
items.
I'd be
If you sit
furious. I spent about 2 weeks when the Copper Age was announced, hollowing out a mountain just so I could oxidize blocks. I think I'd honestly cry.
That would yeah, you would oh man. Yeah, I bet you would. No, that would be I love that idea of furthering excelling the speed of oxidation. I think that would be amazing. Um,
I think the idea of having particle effects, and I think Mojang's push to using particle effects and as well single-sided blocks, and by that I mean things like glow lichen, resin. I can't think of anything else. Maybe it's not that good, but they're them using other things to help us express creativity. I think it's a good thing. I think being able to animate as well. I think they've really seen the rise of Buildstone. I know in the September 2025 after show, the deep dig, I know Mog Swamp really did push Buildstone, explain about Jake Kelton Craft, Mumbo Jumbo and his Hermit Craft Season 10 base. I think things like, I know I'm bringing it back to the cube here, the sulfur cube, adding animation to builds and adding animation full stop. I like the direction they're going. More particles is a good thing. I hope it oxidizes copper because now I feel like my expectations are high, and if it doesn't oxidize copper, it's a 0 out of 10 drop for me.
I think we need to turn it into
Yeah.
I think we need to start like a campaign because I feel like that could be what makes or breaks this drop for a lot of people. It would be such a good thing.
You really think a lot of people are banking on that?
I mean, like, because like I mean, we talked about it already, but like the people that are like, oh, it's more multiplayer, like not really survival. Okay, now what?
Those are
Now if
people
they
without
add one,
imagination, though. Like,
yeah, right. But like if you okay, fair enough, they don't have imagination, which is true. I do agree that their imagination is completely skewed. But like at the
it
same
is.
time, this is like I've kind of like ransacked my like closest trial chamber for like the green blocks, so I'm kind of screwed. Like I can
Mhm.
travel a little bit, but like having this, have like a little special pond, incorporate some like lore into it, done. Like
Yeah,
it's just like it's simple to me. I don't know.
I
It's
love
In
it.
so fire.
I've also
in
thought like, sorry, go ahead, Jack.
no, I was gonna say in the latest I was watching Mumbo Jumbo's I'm a bit obsessed, you see. He did he did a pond, right? And in the pond he had a robot. And one of my, just thinking about it, it'd be really cool if like you could see this like beige smoke come up indicating like the robot was in trouble or dying. One thing I wanted to add about the, speaking of copper, I know Greg, in our episode last year we spoke heavily on copper, and this was before the copper age was even announced.
Yeah, we love our
Um,
copper.
yeah, honestly, love copper.
I do
The
too.
only
Yeah, I
thing I
know
will
you
say
do.
about copper is it's, you can go to the trial chamber and gather a lot of copper very easily. True, but things like the copper bars, copper chains,
Hmm.
um, lanterns, they are very awkward to get in high bulk at that
Exactly, Jack.
level.
So put them in the sulfuric water.
Yes,
Done.
that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
that is
It
true.
that would fix an issue that I currently have because I use weathered copper quite a
Oh yeah,
lot, like
same.
the
I do
lanterns. It's
too.
one of my
I do
favorite
too.
blocks.
I have copper field like areas like you have a whole mountain you dug out. I have fields where I lay my blocks out to oxidize, and I've been doing that for even before Realm News started. And I love copper. I started loving it before it even had functionality, and so I totally am on board with this idea of like let's use
Day one copper
let's use
lover.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, day one copper lover, but I've also thought though with like the noxious gas, like I'm not a multiplayer person, but I think they're gonna have a lot of fun, like people building moats around bases with this stuff, like to like slow down enemies or whatever. I think a lot of people are gonna have. I think it's gonna be fun to see what people do with this drop in particular.
yeah, it's a sandbox game. People like even if like there's functionality that might be like a little bit more niche or a little bit more for certain audiences, like there's more than that. Like as Jack was saying with like the particles and stuff like that,
Yeah, I love those
there's so
ideas.
much more than the
Industrial
surface
particles.
level of it. And in terms of copper, like especially the idea of putting copper like stuff in like the sulfur water, like I think that's incredibly smart. I would have never
Yeah.
actually like been for having a way to oxidize copper quickly because when Mojang added it, they wanted it to be like something that shows age. But then they added the trial chambers, and you can just go harvest that for a whole bunch of oxidized copper. So that kind of like ruins that to the point where it's just like, well, at this point, you might as well just add a valid way to do it that doesn't require tearing apart a structure, especially a replayable structure at that. So,
Well,
yeah, no,
listen
like
to this.
yeah,
I just had to check the science, but yeah, sulfur and sulfuric acid speed up the oxidation process of copper. And so
yeah,
in real life, that
that's
fits perfect.
yeah, that's pretty perfect. I mean, like people like there's a a Minecraft creator named Pixel Riffs, and one of his like big things that he does is he has this whole thing that he's designed in many iterations over the years that's called David as a joke on David Copperfield, and
Oh,
it's basically like like the most like efficient way to like
that's funny.
monitor and oxidize copper, which like that might be a little bit of upsetting for him if all that goes out the window. But
Oh,
you know, like like it makes sense, and like on a similar vein of people have been asking for, and I think this makes a lot of sense too, is using sulfur to create gunpowder, which is especially going to be pretty big
yes.
for peaceful players who struggle to get mass amounts of gunpowder.
And we talked about that some on
I think that's
Friday
so
about gunpowder
overpowered.
and all that good stuff, and TNT it being used for that. Next, what were you going to say?
I said I feel like that would be so overpowered. Like I get it, it makes sense, but like the thought of like collecting sulfur and like crafting it down or like doing something to make it into gunpowder, like imagine all the people that would tear up these caves just to convert it into gunpowder, just to make fireworks and stuff. Like you're just gonna like destroy creeper farms, which may be a good thing. I don't know. Maybe
It
there's
would,
like
I did think about that. It would take away from the creeper some.
I think it does also. Well, at first, like building a creeper farm is something that's a lot less intuitive to a lot of players.
It is,
Like that because it's kind of like a fairly technical like
but
idea.
you
But
can't
all,
you can't argue that it would render the creeper totally useless.
I mean, would it depends on how renewable the sulfur is. Like, yes, in a biome like this, there can be a lot of it, but like if it's not going to satiate you forever, like, and especially like we wouldn't know like what the
But
output
can't you
is for how
duplicate these
much.
blocks maybe with the
I don't think we know that.
we don't know that yet, do we?
We don't know that. I would be kind of I would be intrigued to see how they do that. In fact, like maybe creepers are the way that you get more sulfur actually, which would then kind of not really make this work very well. But like it's but I do think that
I
like
just
a
don't
like it's
see
I think it's better than a creeper farm, and I think that it's definitely
yes, by
a
far.
way.
I
I
just
think it
don't
just
think Mojang
adds
likes to
more.
devalue mobs though. If they can avoid it.
I mean, if a creeper farm is still the best way to do it, especially
Well,
non-renewable, because it's one thing to have it all show up at your door versus I'm going to
well,
go tear apart a
yeah.
biome that's not going to regenerate
Well,
itself.
I don't have a creeper farm. I collect them the old fashioned way, my gunpowder, and I also have like a what is a hostile gosh dang it, where they drop and fall and like all the hostile
randers.
mobs, whatever
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
called. I I have one of those farms
yeah. I know what you
and
mean.
I get gunpowder that way, but I agree with you. Like honestly, I'm just saying I don't see Mojang wanting to devalue something. I mean,
I mean, they did it with name tags and saddles like just the other day. Like,
but I'm talking about mob, like
I,
something that's already kind of hated in this current
I
age.
mean,
I think it
it's
requires
not
care.
it's not devaluing the mob, it's devaluing the farm, which I'm all for, in my opinion. I think again,
Okay.
if you made creepers spawn a lot more, that kind of brings the value of them up, and makes a lot of the creepers are the best thing since sliced bread enjoyers very happy because obviously people love the creeper. People are very insane. Um,
Yeah, I'm
and
one of them.
it could like usher in a new texture for the creeper, in my opinion.
I'd be
But
okay
that's a
with
whole
that.
other
Let's not
conversation.
start there.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that. I saw Next suggest a yellow creeper. I was like, hey, that'd be kind of
they could
cool.
be like you could just do a variant. Like they could just be a variant that does something else, and the
Yeah,
creeper stays the same. And creeper farms are still prominent. I have a ghast farm. I don't use creepers, but like
smart.
you could still have them coexist with each other. I think there's multiple ways you could do it. Honestly.
I forgot that would take away from a little bit from the gas too, I guess, when
Yeah,
it comes
but
to the obtained gunpowder.
yeah, but I think Michael nailed it there. Is that it devalues the farm, not the creeper.
I see it as, yeah, that's a good point. I guess I'm not really a farm person, so I don't think in those terms. So I just see it like as the singular mob. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like I was a little upset initially when they didn't use rabbits to craft the bundle, so the rabbit hides, because I was
That's
like,
fair.
man, they need more value, but they're they're getting more attention anyways now, anyways, with the new animations and the babies. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I like the noxious effects and everything, and the new blocks and the colors. I don't have a problem with that. And I've talking now on the show. My brain's starting to think like more uses with the sulfur
Sulfur
cube.
cube, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm
It would be
thinking the
nice
core
if
uses and stuff.
it'd be nice if the use case made sense. I think a lot of material needs looking at, like and sort of evaluating where it fits on how hard it is to get and whatnot. But if it makes sense for sulfur, it makes sense. Something I hope you don't mind me sort of adding a point here. I think something that Mojang will need to look at is the granite, andesite, and diorite block sets, because now compared to the rest of the block sets underground or calcite, there's some catching up to do. And I think it is entirely plausible to see before the end of the year granite, diorite, and andesite getting bricks and chiseled variants, and just sort of filling out things like walls, slabs,
That'd
and
be
whatnot.
great.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah,
because
that'd be the awesome drop, in my
Yeah,
opinion. That would be the awesome drop.
yeah, I
Yep.
think that would
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
great. I think a lot of people were really like under appreciating these new blocks because they want those, which like that's fair. Like Mojang should be taking care of the stuff that is already in the game that needs it.
And amethyst needs a little bit of attention too.
Sure, yeah, calcite, dripstone, like there's a whole long list. Yeah,
I said it on Twitter, and I think it resonates. Innovation from the future should be able to influence the past. So I think seeing how Cinnabar, and by the way, I'm not angry at Cinnabar or sulfur blocks at all. I actually think they're gorgeous. I think they're going to pair
I do
really
too.
well with resin. Weirdly, I think having that
I've never thought
transition
about that.
from like from like the yellow to the
that's what
orange
happens
to
when
red.
when you mix ketchup and mustard together.
There
Yes,
you go.
indeed, indeed. But in all seriousness, I think those block sets will. It's one of those things where we saw the Happy Gas get the Gasling, and then we saw the Nautilus get the Nautili, the baby Nautili. So we got the tiny takeover, right? I think it's something like that where we see all of the underground blocks getting these really extensive block sets. I think that could potentially be an indication that will extend to granite, diorite, and andesite. I hope it does, but like it's not the end of the world if it doesn't. I just
There's a
think
problem with that,
it's a
though.
safe prediction.
There's a problem with that, though, Jack. What are you going to do when in like 6 months' time they announce this? And there's like 500 Twitter warriors that are like, why are there more block sets in my block game? I wanted an end update. Why
That is
do
the
these
stupidest comment ever.
10-year-old blocks have more blocks? How dare you?
Do you not think though that instead of like looking at these people
They're
and
stupid.
think, oh, they're stupid, I just pity them because we're getting free updates. I bought Minecraft on the pretty scary update in 1.4. I think the first version I actually played was 1.4.1, because I remember them adding the wither picture and that being a big thing. I think I was in like year 7 or 8 at school.
Oh my God.
But yeah, but
Nice.
I probably way younger actually. I probably was in primary school, but I'm digressing. To have updates. If you were to tell me then that we'd get the Deep Dark, the Warden, we'd get Trial Chambers, it's just about being grateful. I think not a lot of these
Yeah.
people are grateful. There's the fortnightfication of getting free constant updates has really worn off on a lot of gaming communities. I
Yeah, I
think
agree.
Terraria is one that's been hit, but they've come out and said, we're not going to update anymore. And I think a lot of people have respected that. But because Minecraft has announced drops, they've done yearly updates. People want fucking, sorry for my language, sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
You're fine,
People
Jack.
want these huge updates, and it's apparent to people's greed, and it's apparent to people's ungratefulness. If the game stops updating tomorrow, because in my opinion, I think I'm pretty good at the game, I will have builds that I can make for another 5 years, right? I don't need updates for inspiration, but a lot of these people do, unfortunately, and that's what's the shame. Oft 26.1. I'm going to say 26.2. We could get the sulfur cube. That could be it, yeah. and I think I'd be pretty happy for a game that I've been playing for over a decade, right? I will be playing this. I want to play this with my children. I want to play this with my other half. I have played it with my other half. I think the point stands that people forget it's a sandbox game, and the intrinsic motivation for the game comes from your imagination. And people complaining, I can't lie, are sad. We shouldn't be wishing nastinesses onto developers. We should just be glad that we've got a bloody good game. Do you know what I mean? I don't care about. I'm not bashing you, Michael, at all. But I just don't care about people not
Unbelievable.
because I love it. Do you know what I mean? I feel peace and I feel happiness playing the game using resource packs and using data packs, and every now and again, once every 2 years, playing the Bedrock edition and playing with some other friends or playing Java, and that's what brings me joy. So I think people complaining just haven't got a lot going on. Sorry I went off a bit there, but that's just my take on it.
No, I think I know I enjoyed hearing that, and I think you said that well. I would like to, guys, kind of make a transition here. I think and if we do come back to the sulfur caves or the chaos or the cube chaos, whatever it's called, we can jump back into there. But I kind of want to make a transition to what else was announced during this show. But I want to first ask this, kind of tying in tiny takeover with this. Do you think the golden dandelion will work on the sulfur cube babies?
I don't know why it
I
would.
hope they do.
I hope they go ahead and parody that for all future babies. Do you think
I
that?
imagine they would. Why wouldn't they?
I don't know. I saw that as mentioned online, and I just wanted to bring it up. Because I don't think a
I
lot of
think
people
I
have brought
think
that
it
up.
will. I don't think you can have an update about keeping things that grow up as babies and then not do it in the next update. I find it funny how the baby slime is pixel inconsistent because they just had a drop making babies pixel consistent. I
I
thought
mean,
that was
to
quite
be
funny.
fair, they did not make like they've done this with a lot of things too. Like even the happy gas, actually, sorry, even the new gas textures aren't pixel consistent. Like it,
No.
it does feel a little bit silly because it seems like Mojang does want that, and to varying that they've had some success and some things they've clearly chosen to ignore. But like. And it's a fair thing to be like, hey, like that, like why didn't they do this? But some people, and I'm not saying you, but I've seen some people that have like use this as a reason for doom and gloom. It's like
Yeah.
I didn't even notice until you pointed it out. Like it's
I think the worst culprit was the baby turtle, and that's been fixed. I think everything else is just polish. I remember breeding turtles for the first time and thinking, "Oh, look, it's you, but just small." But I think that was the worst culprit for me.
yeah, that was a pretty that was a pretty different one.
So, my British friends, what do you all think about the new theme park coming to your country outside of London?
It's close to my
Let's link
house. I'm
up,
so
yeah. Link
excited.
up. Gotta
You
link
guys
up
are
and go
both
to
going to be
it.
going, huh?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna ruin your day. I'm gonna make it miserable for you.
I'll genuinely link up, man. I mean, it's just outside of London. It's like
Is it really?
sorry, it's like Midwest London.
Chessington, right?
Oh,
Yes.
Chessington. Oh, I'm gonna have to go then, aren't I? 'Cause it's like pretty close.
That's
I'm
crazy. You
pretty
guys
sure
are
you can
lucky.
get there through the main London. You like because a lot of things. Sorry to be a nerd about trains. Most of the time, if you live on a line to London, you can get to most of the UK. You go to London, you pick the station using the underground, and then you can go up. So I live in a place called Essex. I'd get a line that takes me from Essex to London, and if I wanted to go to Glasgow, for example, I'd go to the station that goes to Glasgow, which would take
I'm
me
so
about
jealous of
15,
you
20 minutes, and then
Europeans.
go all the way to Glasgow. That's what it would be
I am
like.
so jealous of you Europeans. We have no public transportation in this
Nah,
country.
man. Do you know
I mean,
what?
I live in a city, so actually, I have a lot of public transportation,
But outside that city, you don't have anything.
but I'm not there. I'm here.
Okay. Well, I'm saying like it's not like you can jump on the train and like go to anywhere in the country, It's like you can go to a few
No,
Yeah.
but I could go
big
to
cities.
Minecraft Experience.
That's true. You could go there, which is awesome. I'm just saying I'm jealous of Europe's transportation
That's all you
system
need,
and
man. That's all
well,
you need.
altogether. But no, I think that's awesome. I want to get you guys on the show to talk about your experience once that theme park opens, because obviously I'm not going to spend $1,200 for a plane ticket to go to a theme park.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I
But no, I
knew
think it's really cool.
Can I give one little negative that I've got about this whole thing? It's really a nothing burger. They announced the partnership before the live show, which I thought was really strange.
The what before
Like,
the live show?
so I'm pretty sure they made a TikTok the day before Minecraft Live, or like the morning of. Well, morning for me. I'm not sure about you guys. And they announced the Merlin partnership, and
Oh, that's right.
I thought, why wouldn't you just wait a day to announce it at the show where you announce all your other big things? But then I don't think it really matters that much, because I think I can't lie, I don't watch Minecraft Live for Minecraft World. I watched it for the summer drop, but that's,
Same here, but I know Friday we were speculating. I didn't know about the theme park being discussed, but somebody brought it up when we were recording, and I looked it up, and that's where it told me it was with Merlin Entertainment, and that was before the show even
yeah.
started. I was like, oh, okay, that's crazy. So I don't know. I think that's cool. You guys will be able to experience that. I'm scared of heights, so I would never ride that roller coaster. But I bet that's going to be a cool roller coaster. I bet it's going to be like a mine cart.
If
Obviously, it has to be a mine cart.
I want
little
to ride in a chest boat.
You want a chest
man.
boat? Yeah, you. They'll probably have chest boats on
Yeah,
water.
or
It'll be
like a
like that
strider. Like
Jeb picture.
they just did a whole drop on mounts. Like obviously, like they're not going to bring in a camel. Like I'm sure,
Maybe
but
they
like
will.
you know what? Maybe they'll.
I reckon they'll do like really weird, like pixely foods, like weird, like chicken or
A blimp that's aghast.
I was saying
yeah,
pixely.
like they'll cut like ham and cheese into squares and bread into like
Square burgers and
square
Yeah,
burgers. Yeah.
it sounds like a lot of like work, but like Disney does stuff like this, I guess. So like it's possible. Like that would be really cool. Like you go and you order something and it literally comes out like sort of like with like hard edges and stuff.
that would be
Like
funny.
imagine
like,
that.
What if they only sell like foods from the game? Like you can only
They
eat
they
like
I mean,
beans,
probably wouldn't do that. They would
carrots.
alienate too many people.
to be
spider eye
I'm
for
fair,
kidding. I'm
nothing.
joking.
to be fair, you guys are proposing weird food as if we don't have weird food already. Like we've got that covered.
Rotten flesh.
Yeah, you guys
We're
have some
good.
weird
Yeah,
food.
we
I
have rotten flesh
literally
actually
had the most British breakfast. I had beans on toast this morning. Like,
Of
Oh
course you
God.
did. Of course
I'm
you
not
did.
even joking. I'm not even joking. Good dinner.
Yeah,
Bloody hell.
yeah.
Don't,
we-
don't,
we
don't,
have- we have toast. We have
Michael,
toast.
don't act like you're above beans on toast, mate. Like,
Yeah,
what's
aren't
going
you guys
on?
like the same?
It's just you can't have it that often, bro. It's just fucking. It is a bit rancid. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's just.
do me I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this because I'll end up dueling on
Look,
bedrock.
look. I don't want to. I don't want to
Lord.
defend Americans either. They've got Kinder eggs banned, but like at the same time, it's on toast. It's just like kind of minging, you know?
Do you
I
know
don't
what?
know.
Do you know what I will say? I do get beans on toast being weird. British chocolate, by the way, it's so much better than American chocolate.
You guys,
I've heard that a lot.
I had another Brit on the show telling me all about chocolate. You guys love your chocolate over there.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
we
do I
do.
love chocolate? Jesus. Oh my
Okay.
god. I could talk to you for hours.
Let's talk about Dungeons 2, folks. I've never played the first one, but are you guys excited for
You
this?
didn't play the
guys like-
first one?
I played the
Greg.
first one
I
either, I'm
have
not gonna
no
lie.
time to
I barely
hardly.
did.
I've never even been to the end, guys. Like I'm working 2 jobs outside this podcast.
Oh,
I can't play another video game. Like,
I just don't have like the appropriate console to like play it on.
yeah, that's fair enough.
I played it on I have an Xbox. Had an Xbox, sorry. I played it on there because it's on the Xbox Game Pass. I can't lie, I haven't completed it, but like it was a really good time. Like I tried to get into Legends and it bored me. I'm not gonna lie. Legends just really didn't do it for me. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just not
It
into
sounds
strategy
like it
games.
was a failure overall.
I mean, objectively, yeah. It didn't even last over a year, did it? I mean,
It was a
it was a
failure.
bit of a stinker, but I think Dungeons was actually enjoyable. And I mean, even so, I live near a seaside town, and we've got all these arcades, and it's so weird. In a lot of these arcades, there is Minecraft Dungeons, but like a physical Minecraft Dungeons that still gets updates.
Nice.
Yeah, really, really strange. It just any sort of British promenade with arcades. I have actually been to other seaside towns. You guys might know Brighton. I'm not sure if you do.
Unfortunately,
Yes. I've been
Isn't
to
that
Brighton
where
too
the ghost cast
with
is based?
my girlfriend, and we in the arcades there they have dungeons like most seaside towns do, which I think because it kept getting updated, I sort of had hope, and we all knew it was coming. Like I wish I didn't know. Like we were talking about leaks earlier, but Minecraft Dungeons still will be fun, and I think watching them expand upon Skulk will be cool. I do think though a lot of people will complain because they'll be like, "Why isn't this in vanilla?" But I think that's expected. They have a lot of cool concepts and ideas. It's like the mob vote losers. We all think, "Oh, that could be really cool in vanilla." I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to think that. I think it will happen, and I think it's this weird thing because Minecraft want to create spin-off games, but they also want to appease people who play the vanilla game. So it's something tricky to balance. But yeah,
I mean, we know that the two games are being linked somehow in some story-defining way. And what
yeah.
is the story in Dungeons 2? You know, it's just kind of obvious. Now, do I think it's going to be a one-to-one port from Dungeons? No, but there's going to be they have to link both games, even if it wasn't like linked lore-wise. It kind of makes sense for like advertising to be like, yeah, both these games have the skinny warden or whatever. I don't know.
On one
I think
hand,
that there's the big warden, the leaked picture, but I think that skinny thing is the caretaker. I might be wrong. But did you guys see the ARG video, the hidden QR code?
I haven't seen it, but I heard about it, and I think that's supposed to. I think one of the leaks says that's supposed to be called a singer, which would explain, I guess, sort of like the singing thing they did there.
I
Interesting.
do like the fact that they're using music. It sort of ties in. You use music to get into the portal, but you have to be
That's cool. I
quiet
like
around the
that.
edge of the portal. It's a really nice contrast. I'm a big fan.
No,
Yeah, in an
that
area
is
where you have to be
neat.
silent.
And this releases in fall this year, and I just want to say, I Friday I said I think it's going to release in fall because their new Helix PC hybrid console that Microsoft has released. My whole theory is they're trying to boost sales for that, but I'm could be wrong there. That's just a personal theory.
I mean, it makes sense. Like it's not like a I
No, it
guess
does
crazy
marketing
idea.
wise. I
I
mean,
don't know. I
the
think
Xbox has been failing for years. Like,
yeah, but as someone who has the console and plays on it every day, I will say you will hear about them discontinuing Xbox One edition first, than them doing any plans. It depends
yeah,
what Minecraft. I think the core Xbox One edition for Minecraft is done. Like I think that'll be announced like next year. The Xbox One X is gonna live for like another 10 years.
yeah.
'Cause it normally does, right? The old console normally lives. But I think it's
It-
too early for
then they
the.
moonlight it
I've heard
out
about that as well, Greg. But I don't think they could because like, you are right. The Xbox One or the Xbox brand is
altogether has failed.
is. I'll say this as a I like the Xbox. It sucks.
My brother plays
It
Xbox and
sucks.
he loves it, and I have nothing against it,
Yeah.
but, like, the I reported a couple times last year just specifically over Xbox and Microsoft, and, I correlated because I read an article on Forbes of their past CEO, I can't remember his name before Asha Sharma took over, and who was there for like almost what 30 years. But anyways, he admitted, he goes, "We lost the game console wars." He admitted we can't ever beat Nintendo or PlayStation. And I was like, "Damn, dude, like you are not a good CEO for the gaming division if you're coming out saying that." And then Asha Sharma comes in with her AI background, and now they're announcing this PC hybrid console with
Yeah. Kill
be
me.
and they
Kill
just got
me.
done with their Xbox for everything campaign, like they killed that off like as soon as Asha Sharma came in, and now they're focusing AI in their gaming division heavily. And I'm worried that that's going to be, I think their helix, obviously everything's going towards AI. We aren't going backwards ever. We aren't going to go away from that ever. It's going that direction. And I think that new console is going to be heavily oriented towards AI. And I think it is for marketing purposes. They're pairing this with Dungeons too, as well, to help boost their failing consoles. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I just seeing like a CEO with her background, seeing where everything's going, that kind of has me worried with the direction of like potential their gaming division.
On the topic of AI, do you think it's quite refreshing to still be involved in a community which is so anti AI, and
Yes,
to play a game which is so anti AI? It is refreshing. Um,
it
I
is.
I personally, I mean, you'll have to fact check this, but I don't think there was much economic growth due to AI in the United States last year.
No, that was the
I
only
think,
thing that kept our GDP afloat, but it was only
well,
between 3 companies. It was 3 companies, NVIDIA, ChatGPT, Sam Altman, Mike I think Microsoft owns that or something. And, what's the 3rd one? I can't remember, but essentially,
Anthropic.
they're buying these databases and building them, and they're buying these chips for memory storage to sustain this exponential growth for their AI systems, and so they'll give them billions of dollars, and then they'll exchange that $1 billion back to them. It's just this back and forth as the common American person, isn't getting shit. Like, so it's an artificial GDP almost. Like, our economy is actually not doing good.
In terms of, Minecraft Dungeons too, um, uh,
Yeah, if
to
we wanna
kinda
get back to that
is
off
it
the
yeah, to kinda
economy,
is
sorry.
it no, no, okay, but, in terms of that, as I had said before, like, I've never played Minecraft Dungeons. A lot of that's because of the consoles and stuff. Like, if I had the ability to play it, like, I would love to play it even today. Legends never looked like a game like I would enjoy even before it came out. But, like, Dungeons, like, I even said, to I think everybody here, very shortly before the show, that if I think it was yesterday, like if Dungeons 2 was announced, I could not imagine that it would be in the next 2 quarters. I was very incorrect on that. Which cool, like it's nice to see that they'll have there's something to show, and it's not but it's also like not going to be like years away. There's
Yeah.
it's like this is what we have, like it's coming, and it's coming in relatively soon. So that's neat. Like there's a lot of potential for things that they can really do with the ideas presented. A lot of things they can do with adapting those for vanilla. I mean,
Mm.
no notes. I had said when the week before Minecraft Live that I had a feeling. Part of it was because of something said by Moam. Another is because of I recognized there was something different about this what to see at Minecraft Live video that Mojang put out. That was like I was like something's different here. Um but at the same time, I was not expecting it until the moment they started talking about cubed chaos. And that was because I was like, this show felt short. And I was thinking
Yeah.
about it, and I was like, is there something at the end? And I didn't say it because I was kind of like, I'm gonna sound stupid. But I actually my intuition was correct, was totally correct on that.
Yeah, and I had
But
a
yeah, it's
feeling like
exciting.
we were talking about Friday Mint and everybody else that was on that show I said, like, I had a feeling they were going to talk about the drop and then 2 big secrets out of that initial, and I think one of those 2 big secrets is Minecraft World, which was leaked, and then obviously the
And even the new Minecraft experience, which is like a much smaller thing, but I
yeah,
didn't
that
expect that.
night one seems interesting. I
Yeah,
I I
I
forgot
haven't
about
seen many
that.
people talking about that, and I think it's definitely the smallest piece of news in all of this. But
The Moonlight
that's another.
Trail
Yeah,
is what that's
which
called.
which we know little about it, but in concept sounds much more interesting to me than Villager Rescue. And
Same.
Villager Rescue has been moving around so much. They
It must be
just
popular.
last year, I think it was only in 2 places, and then they had announced a third. And since the end of last year, I think they've announced four for before halfway through 2026.
Singapore,
Singapore, Chicago, I think Mexico City was one of
yep.
them.
That was
Um,
last year, I think, wasn't it?
I don't think so, but
No, you're right.
maybe I
Okay.
am getting
Yeah, you're
mixed
right.
up.
I'm looking at right here, Mexico City, Denmark, Herning, Denmark, Mexico City, Chicago, and Singapore.
Yeah, so I assume that likewise, that's also going to eventually pick up pace and be in a lot of different places. And I'm just it's yeah, that sounds interesting. Again, I think it sounds more interesting than the first one. So,
And the
um,
Moonlight Trail starting down in Buenos Aires. Gotta remember
oh
that.
yes, I need to tell my friend in Argentina to go check that out for me.
There you go, because I'm looking at the site now and I can't read it because I don't know Spanish. Or wait, they speak. Yeah, it's Spanish down there. It's not Portuguese.
I'm pretty at least in Buenos Aires, my understanding from what I've been told is that it is more Spanish.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I don't speak either of those, just French and English for moi. But no, that'll be interesting. I'm excited to hear about the Moonlight Trail. I think that was really cool to see, honestly. And like you meant, it kind of piqued my interest more than the Village Rescue. But it must be
Yeah,
popular,
it's good to
Village
check it
Rescue.
out.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so
they've done
too,
well.
man. Yeah.
I think because like I didn't go to the villager rescue, but I got gifted the cape because I'm cool. Just one flex. But
Wait,
like, yeah, I got gifted it. Someone went there and was like, does anyone want a free cape?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take it." But like,
nice.
I'm going into the event and I'm thinking, what else could they do to? Because it's like you can't do the same thing like over and over and over and over and over. And maybe you can because you're Mojang and like you get away with a lot, but it's just like, well, what else could they do? And I agree that it wasn't spoken about much, but honestly, I think that's in part because I really think the whole event as a whole was really good, in my opinion. So, like, a lot of people haven't spoken about it, but when it is spoken about, it is like, well, yeah, it was pretty good. Now you think about it, and
Yeah,
I think it was
what
really
you talking about
done
the
well.
show in general?
Yeah, yeah, like, and the whole like pleasure experience because you know how like Mint brought up that it's not really spoken about much, but when it is, I feel like it's praised, right? It's not something that's like, oh, it's not spoken about much because it's terrible. It's like, oh
No.
yeah, I mean that too was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a negative comment about Villager Rescue ever. Now that I think about it.
I remember seeing like one review of it. I think it was from Toy Cat because he probably did the London one, and I don't remember exactly his consensus. It wasn't like this is the best thing ever, but I don't think it was like negative either.
I think it's tailored towards children, and
That's fair.
I'm not
Families.
saying that's a bad thing. I mean, it is.
Mhm.
I think Minecraft is for all ages, but I think he mentioned it's a good place to go if you've got young ones. I personally didn't go. I can't lie. I forgot. The I've also with the Buenos Aires extension, it's nice that they're experimenting and not just keeping the same formula. It's nice that they're not just staying comfortable because, from what I can understand, Villager Rescue clearly does well. It's nice that they're taking the formula and tweaking it, and they're not just saying, "Right, this works." Oh, sorry, this works. Let's just stick with it. They're experimenting, which I think is a positive overall.
I thought it was kind of interesting, and I thought it was nice that they are um, testing out the Moonlight Trail somewhere that's not the Western Hemisphere. You know, somewhere different. Because I think the Villager Rescue initially started in Texas, and then then I think it jumped up to Canada, and then kind of moved around the United States, and then went abroad. So I thought it's kind of cool that they started there down in Buenos Aires. Let me see here. How do you feel about Mojang's approach to addressing the community feedback? Do you think they're doing a good job with that? I know we brought that up several times with you guys on the show. I like bringing that
Mm.
question up just to see if they're doing a good job responding to community feedback. What do you
Yeah.
think, Michael?
It's at the current point of where we are as the community as the game, it's very subjective because a lot of the feedback is about whether you like the baby animals or not, right? So once we get over that hill, which will it'll take like a month after the drop releases, I'd say, and once we get into like the whole, okay, what should happen in uh the cube drop, I forget its name. Um,
The Sulfur Cube?
yeah, in that drop, like it'll be more so like, oh, what should we have in this drop? Right now, it's like, do you like this or not? It's very subjective, right? So it's very hard for Mojang to. Mojang are not going to make everyone happy with
Mm-mm.
Tiny Takeover, ironically, even though it's like the easiest drop to really do, in my opinion. It's also like very hard in that it's going to annoy a lot of people, and a lot of people responded to Jeb saying, "We're listening to your feedback," and saying, "Really? But in Tiny Takeover, you didn't do this," and it's like that's it's so like it's just exhausting to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
People
think, like personally, I still haven't got my left hand, right? So it's very sad for me.
Soon,
So I will
hopefully.
disagree with Jeb. Yeah, I will disagree with Jeb, but at the same time. they are objectively listening to feedback, in my opinion. And if they add the andesite, diorite, and granite blocks, no one can talk, in my opinion. So that's
Very
just
true.
my 2 cents based.
Anybody else want to expand on that?
I just agree with Michael. I think he hit the nail on the head, really.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I agree too, honestly. Well, folks,
I have something if Next doesn't.
The only
next,
comment
you
I
have
have
anything?
about the feedback, um, I mean, it's nice they're listening. I hope that we can see, um, as more drops go in or come out, that they consider more things that like have been maybe not as well received in previous drops, or maybe lean more into things that are received well. I just think it'll take time because the drop system, the development time is too short to like really take feedback in and adjust. Where most of the drops that I've had like really like loud feedback, like stuff about the Pale Garden generation, didn't even make it into the Garden Awakens drop. It was like one of the first couple snapshots for Spring to Life. So it just takes time. And if there's like a very vocal majority, I think with anything that we've gotten, like they'll adjust to the feedback. Um, but as far as just a lot of the complaints being we need more content, I mean, they're not really going to address that because they have another drop right around the corner. So the realistic stuff will probably be addressed, and I just hope that they consider some of the comments in future drops to come.
Yeah, and we just started this drop, so who knows what they're going to, like what they're going to also add in the
Mm.
meantime. What do you have any speculations next? What they're going to add to this,
I
if
have no
anything?
idea. I In my head, I kind of feel like we're done, but at the same time, there is 3 months and we haven't started the development cycle yet. If it's anything, I feel like it would be pretty minor. Um, Maybe an expansion of those other stone block sets, maybe, but it's kind of a lot of textures in one little drop. Um, a little bit of me actually kind of thinks that we could more likely get a different cave, quote unquote, variant as
Mm,
opposed to another mob. Um,
like the Cinnabar beetle.
yeah. I don't think we'd quite get that if we got it. Cool. I don't know what it would do, but I think we're more likely to get like an ice cave using existing blocks than another mob.
Ooh, that'd be cool. What do you guys think
I
we'll get?
I think another mob like would fit because like this biome doesn't feel like it's supposed to be entirely safe. And I know a lot of people were talked about they didn't see anything and there was a lot of glow lichen, but
Mhm.
like they did for the caves and cliffs showcase at Minecraft Live in 2020, that's a lot of that's probably for show, and like for the presentation. But like, so like, I think a new mob would be cool. I don't know if that's really counting on, but something to like add to the danger level and and make that and really expand upon that idea that was presented, and as well as you'd maybe expect of things like sulfur and cinnabar. To quickly go back to like the idea of feedback, I think there's like two important things that like to remember for a lot of people. And like the first is just because Mojang doesn't explicitly say anything or even like use or like directly implement the feedback that they're given doesn't mean they're not like looking through it and discussing it. I think like people just like forget that. But then also, we don't always know what it is they're talking about. So, or like what it is they're like looking at. Like for example, like the golden dandelion was what was mentioned in the show that Jeb gave as an example. But also then we think of like a lot of people wanted new block sets. New biomes and cave biomes are part of it. Like we've just got both of those. They weren't maybe directly asked for. Like someone probably didn't go say, a sulfur biome with red and yellow blocks are cool. But Mojang has information and data and is able to make something out of it that is oftentimes greater than like what people have been wanting. Like because at the end of the day, they are a bit like they're creating a game, and a lot of the developers are doing that because they love it and want to. But there's also they're also a business, and so these ideas, like, you can't say that they're not thinking about what players want and have asked for and everything. Like, I mean, like I understand we haven't gotten like an end update, but like before that was the cave update everyone is asking for. Mojang knew, and they were being careful with it. So sometimes we don't see things. Sometimes they give us things that people are asking for, but not in the way that's expected. And then sometimes, as Nexx brought up with the Pale Garden, sometimes unfortunately, stuff happens and they don't get things solved like they should be immediately on time. But
Yeah.
and that happens. But some people just seem to absolutely refuse to believe that Mojang does things the community wants. I mean, I can pick out so many examples from like in just the past year, and like and I can even say just like one of them, which is the Copper Golem, and I feel like that should shut a lot of this like argument down. That they don't listen to feedback.
Gotcha. Anybody else like to expand on that?
I think it's apparent that I think Mojang want feedback. I mean, look at the armadillo. They
Yeah.
clearly changed that because people were complaining.
The
I
whole
don't
eyes,
actually
right?
think. Yeah, about the eyes. I don't actually think I wasn't really involved in the community as much. I think I joined the community. Um, I think I followed Michael and I started commenting on his stuff. And I think it went from there. I think Michael was literally the first person who showed me love in the community, which I'm always grateful for.
Awesome. That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah. So I think I've been around for a couple of years, and I can definitely see where feedback is met. I mean, the golden dandelion, the whole idea they've said is, we saw people wanting to keep mobs babies forever. I also think they take fundamental ideas from big YouTubers, big creators, stuff like that. I mean, before the Golden Dandelion was even announced, on the Hermitcraft server, they had a data pack which allowed for the mobs to stay babies. They used name tags in that case. But I
Interesting.
think looking at ideas as such is important. Something else I have to add is when looking at feedback, I think there's a clear difference between feedback and abuse. And I think
Mm.
saying something's bad for the sake of it isn't necessarily an overall net good. I think saying something could be improved and given reason could be better. For example, a criticism that I have is that I think that there's gaps in logic within the game, i.e., we've got the bogged, we've got the parched, we've got the stray, and we've got the skeleton, but we don't have a cold skeleton. So instead of saying this is bad, I say, there's a room for improvement here. There is a gap in the game for a cold variant of a zombie, for example, with its own, unique what's the term, with its own unique function. But just shouting, I mean, we've seen the discourse since Minecraft Live. It is disappointing though to think that the community is going to get rolled up. It is really disappointing because when I watched it, I remember thinking, right, everyone's just going to say it's a retextured slime and that it's slop, and it is so
Yeah.
demoralizing. Do you not think?
I, I'll have to say, man, like it is a little demoralizing because last night, yesterday, right after the show, I posted on Reddit the exact same poll I have on Twitter because that's where I always conduct my polls, and I
Yeah,
posted
yeah,
three different groups over there, and I have probably getting close to 300 votes altogether on Reddit, but I was responding to comments last night, and I had a ton of them, but I would say the overwhelming amount were negative, like, out of the comments.
such a
Like, I would
shame.
say the most I'm going to divide them up into when I do a show over that poll, I'm going to divide the comments in, like, the proponents and opponents, to it and read them off that way because it's I don't know, it was a little disappointing to see, like, how bent out shape people are over this.
I mean,
It seemed like they're more hostile than they were over the tiny takeover, which is kind of
yeah. I
crazy.
mean, for the tiny takeover drop, I wasn't mad at it. I just felt deflated because,
I got
I
bored with it.
think we
So
were
bored.
thinking, oh, there could be these cool mechanics or whatever. And we did get the
Yeah,
golden dandelion. And to be honest, I think that's the only thing that I really wanted out of the drop because I
right.
know it was going to be small. But They made
The
over
name
100
tags is
characters.
cool. The craftable name tags is, to me,
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot
very
of work put into
functional.
that drop, and I know it had to happen, but I think I was just a little bit, you know, more
I was
baby
simply
mobs.
bored.
Sorry.
I was just simply bored with it.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to be disappointed in a drop. You know, we're all entitled to an opinion, but
Yeah.
I think looking at something and saying I don't like it, it's not for me. I didn't go out, I didn't tweet saying I hate Minecraft because of the tiny takeover drop. I mean, look at what it's done for
Well,
the
you didn't
community.
want Netanyahu to bomb anybody?
Nice, it's such a joke. I mean, she is a woman in gaming, and people can't handle it. It is an absolute joke. She's
Isn't
so
that
successful.
pathetic?
She's
Isn't
so
that pathetic?
it
The
is. It
reality
is.
is, there's two truths to this, right? I also wasn't the biggest fan of Tiny Takeover, but it's made me remake one of my worst buildings into probably one of my best buildings ever. That's number one.
Really?
Two, yeah, 100%. Two, the moment Agnes leaves Minecraft, Minecraft suffers immensely, hugely. When
Yeah.
Agnes
Agreed.
leaves, Agnes is the backbone to the community and the game. The second she leaves, there's going to be, like, the game's going to be changed forever. And it's going to be worse.
Well, she'll have to leave
I,
She is.
eventually.
No, but, like, she will eventually, right? And she is the embodiment of the whimsy and the joy that we feel.
Yeah.
There's no,
Yeah.
like, the antagonistic part of it is Twitter. The whimsy and joy is literally personified in one person, and you can see it in Agnes's, like, presentation and how she, like, conducts herself when she talks about this.
yeah,
You
Right?
can
you
tell
you
I
she
cannot
loves
agree.
you
the
cannot
game.
convince anyone that Mojang does not have passion when Agnes is there and
It's
Yeah,
encapsulates
no,
obvious.
it
I
all
100% agree. And
perfectly.
It's
Jeb, I
obvious.
love Jeb's passion too, but he doesn't.
He,
She
he's
really
not as
expresses it.
expressive of a
No,
person, but
she
I
is very
believe it.
He
expressive.
seemed pretty excited. I thought when watching the live yesterday, I did think, wow, he really loves this game.
No, he
Um,
does, man. You can just
yeah.
tell he's been with this
Before
game
He spent
forever
like
with
15 years
Agnes, and
of his life on this.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's
Man,
literally more than
he's on
half
Blue
my
Sky
life. It's
writing to
crazy.
us normal people. Like just every day I'm waking up to him, like commenting, responding back to just regular people. I
Yeah.
love that.
He replied to Mint, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
on Blue Sky.
Jeb.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I've had a few back and forth conversations with him on Blue Sky.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Speaking of Mint, actually, I did want to mention I do think the Tiny Takeover really helped for modders and data pack creators. I personally quite enjoyed Mint's day one of the new baby mob
That was
when
cool.
it was
That was,
very cool.
and you
I
talked
like
I
about
I
that
like
on
I
the
show.
touch
appreciate
room.
that. That was such a chore. I'm so glad it's over.
I think giving people a design language for baby models when maybe necessarily there wasn't really one before because there was just a formula. I think that helps as well. Um, that's the only thing I will say. Like I know I'm gonna dunk on Tiny Takeover. I didn't enjoy the development process because I think we all knew what was going to happen. Um, I'm glad they updated all the mobs because if they didn't, it would have been well, why didn't you? And it's like they have it is a good drop because it overall improves the game. But I'm just excited for Chaos Cubed. I think this is going
Same.
to be really awesome to play with. I can't honestly. I think the first snapshot for it should be if we're on the 22nd. Tuesday, the 24th will be the drop, the
Yep.
tiny takeover. So the 31st, the week after, it is a 31st, isn't it? Wait, yep, the 31st. I think that will be our first snapshot or preview. I do think there is a chance that a preview comes first because that happened last year. I think we got the Happy Ghast on Bedrock before Java.
Yeah,
But
we did.
Oh, I wonder if
where
that's because the April Fools, but not important.
I mean,
That's true.
I was quite curious as to why they did the showcases in Java this time because they really wanted to push vibrant visuals. So
That's a
I
good point. I
think
didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I
I didn't
think it's
either.
not ready on Bedrock yet. But I don't know. That's just a shot in the dark.
Interesting. No, interesting.
That explains the speculation of offhand on one of those images that we
Do you
had.
imagine?
What from
Like
Smoky Stack?
it is something I think we have to mention, but even though I know we haven't got long. Offhand is coming. I can't believe I'm sat with the fellow Brit who's been campaigning. It must, Michael. Sorry, I know this is Greg's show, Michael. It must be refreshing to have some sort of official sort of discussion from Mojang's end around Offhand. How does that feel?
I'll say that it is refreshing. It is worrying given Mojang's track record on parity, but I am cautiously optimistic that it happens this year,
This year, yeah, you
which
were
is
saying that
huge.
Friday, I think.
Yeah, it's huge because I think
That would be
I don't know,
wild.
like I think like I was on like a Realm News, like it might have been on a roundtable actually, and I was like, it's not happening this year.
No, you
But
did say that, I think, on maybe a round table. No, it was in your combat episode, I think.
yeah,
That
and I was like, it's not happening anytime soon. I think at least experimental or like preview, one of the two, maybe not the base game. So like my advocacy will not end this year, but it will be in the game, if that makes sense, this year.
You think it'll be in a preview? I
nice.
I mean I will disagree. I don't think it will happen full stop this year because I think they're just getting into discussion about actual development. I think there's a backlog of things to come prior. I'm not saying that to be a doomer. I think that there's a lot of consideration that has to go in. I think the one thing I will say, I do think the Bedrock community would flourish if there was a separate mobile version, but that's just a bit of a controversial opinion from me.
We'll
I
have to get into that another time, I
Well,
think.
yeah, but I do think by the next summer's drop, I do think there is full. I think it'll be the first half of 2027. You get full Offhand in the game, no question about it. The exact same as Java. And I think it's also an opportunity for Java. If it comes to Bedrock, then we can talk about innovation within the offhand space. Things like offhanding a torch, potentially giving light, dynamic lighting, stuff like that.
That'd
It
be
doesn't
cool.
have to. We don't have to say right. Bedrock's now at Java. We could even say why not further? Why
Yeah, let's
not?
keep it going.
Why not innovate? I
Yeah.
think it'll be. I think it'd be quite nice if it happens for Minecraft to quote Michael's tweet. I think if anyone can make that happen, I think it could be Michael.
Yeah.
If he can get Squid Game to reply, he can get Mojang to. I'm sure.
There you go.
True.
um, you guys, this is a good place, I think, to wrap up this show. And I just want to go ahead and go around here and let you guys have a chance to say goodbye. I'll start with you, Michael.
Yeah, I mean it was fun having me on today. I enjoyed it. Hopefully your listeners did as well. I feel like we've had a lot of general consensus that yesterday was very positive, which I'm very happy about because as a community, I think it's time we like push back against this whole negative notion. And like, if you like the game, you're a glazer. I don't really understand that, right? So I think it's good to have a platform to be able to push back against it. And I feel like we should do it more. And I didn't swear once. Amazing.
Awesome. No, I mean, thanks for being back on the show. I always love having you on, Michael, and I'm going to get you back on, talk more about dual wielding again. And
Hmm.
and Jack, I'd like to pass it to you.
Yeah. As always, it is always a pleasure speaking with yourself, Greg. As
You
as
as well.
somebody who has done 3 roundtables now, this definitely feels like a turning point within the community. Not for necessarily for the good. So I think it's going to be interesting to navigate the game and the community within the next couple of weeks. I am excited to see how the next 2 drops look. I'm excited, especially the autumn drop. I want to see if they bring back another mob vote loser, but that can be a conversation for that time. I'm excited to play with the sulfur cube. I will be making a marble run in creative in the snapshots, and I will be building it on day one. Um, One thing I do have to say is I think it is important for Bedrock to now have a chunk pruning feature. With the amount of biomes we're getting in the game, I can do it quite easily as a Java player. Like my old base, there never used to be a pale garden. There used to be a dark oak forest, and then you prune it, and now it's all pale oak forest. Really, really grateful to be here, Greg. You know, you provide a great show. You're a great host, and I really want to be back for the next one. And it was good to meet Mint, and it was good to speak with Nexx and Michael. So yeah, overall, really good chat, and it'll
I
be
really
interesting to observe. Thank you.
I really appreciate that, Jack, and I loved having you back on. It's been way too long, 6 months
Yeah,
when we
man,
talked before
sure.
this show, so I'll have to get you back on again. So just to have another show with you because I want to catch up with the things you've been building and
I
whatnot.
appreciate you. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, so we'll get you back on the show. And Mint, I'd like to pass it on to you.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I've enjoyed this. Thanks for having me on once again. I know I've
Of course.
I've just been on pretty recently. I think a lot of people have probably been hearing a lot from me in the past few weeks on the show.
That's how it
But
goes.
uh, but yeah, good hanging out with both Michael and Next again. Great meeting you, Jack.
Pleasure.
This I'm really excited for this next drop. As much as all the stuff that's on Twitter and everything, just like it's it's okay not to be, not everything can be for everyone. Hopefully your opinion will change. If not, there's you know, there's so much more that we'll get in this year that's going to be different than what we already have. Um, slime the sulfur cube is so cool. I like like everyone just like the day that comes out in snapshots, keep a close eye on the community. Like there's going to be some unbelievable things. um but yeah, and besides that, I know that Nex isn't here to say his goodbyes because he had to drop off early. But I just wanted to let everyone know that what he wanted to say as a goodbye is that he really is happy that Offhand is coming to Bedrock, and that he takes
Tell that.
everything back, and he loves Michael with all of his
Yeah.
heart. And
I think that's exactly what he
Unbelievable.
said.
I
That's you
I
said
think I
it
nailed
almost
it to a T.
Unbelievable.
verbatim.
Little weasel left before I could say anything. So now I look like I'm the bad guy if I say anything. So now I can't bully Jack because Grace is here. I can't bully Greg because he's the host. Mint, it's on you, buddy.
Well, yeah, next, those were some beautiful words that you left. I
Awful
just
words.
wanna I just wanna thank you, Michael, Jack, Mint, Next. Thank you guys for coming back to the show. You guys are part of the Realm News family, and I love it. And we always this Realm News Roundtable 3. I think they've all been great discussions, but I think we had some great, profound, civilized discussions here today, and I think we brought some good points for the audience to think about. And overall, it was just great chatting with you guys. And I just want to say that I'm really grateful to have you as part of Realm News. And with that said, thanks again. And to the audience out there, thank you for tuning in. It's that you guys are great. I have the best audience out of any podcast on the planet. You guys are just amazing people and love you all from the bottom of my heart. And I just want to say happy crafting. Have a great rest of your week. Dark Lord signing out.